Okay, good morning, everybody. Today is April 8th, 2025. This is a regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Rusty Robinson.
Here.
Robert Thayer.
Here. Okay, at this time, would you all rise for invocation from the pastor, Tyler Jones, 28 Church. Pastor, how you doing?
Bow your heads with me. Father, we just thank you for today. We thank you for the day you have made. And I pray over this meeting that there would be peace and clarity, my God. And I pray over the board that you would just give them strength and you would just fill their hearts with gratitude this morning. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, we'll start off this morning with a fun event. We have the Golden Bears here this morning, and we have our administration going to present them with some certificates. So, morning, how are you?
Oh, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Giselle Coit, Administrative Analyst. Before you this morning, it is with great pride and excitement that we recognize the incredible achievement of the Sierra Pacific High School varsity girls basketball team. Under the leadership of head coach Victor Chavarine Jr., this team displayed outstanding dedication, resilience, and teamwork throughout their season, culminating in their well-earned victory in the 2025 CIF Central Section Division II Championship on March 6, 2025. This championship win is a testament to the hard work and perseverance of the student athletes who have balanced their academic responsibilities with the demands of the competitive athletics. Today, we not only celebrate their athletic success, but also recognize the important values that they embody: determination, sportsmanship, and teamwork. At this time, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge each player by name, present them with a certificate in recognition of their championship victory. Once your name is called, please step into the well and accept your certificate. Kimora Gardner. Ava Nugent. Nayang Ayuan. Riley Rue. Mia McLemore. Apajak Ayuan. Preeti Bungar. Kiana Adams. Lila Love. Andy Jones. Asia Jackson, and Giselle Calvillo. Additionally, we recognize the coaching staff, head coach Victor Chabrine Jr., We'd also like to acknowledge assistant coaches Victor Chabrine, Helly Betancourt, and Josh Blair for their unwavering support and guidance in leading this team to victory. Once again, congratulations to the Sierra Pacific High School varsity girls basketball team on this incredible milestone. We look forward to seeing their success in the future, and head coach Victor would like to say a few words.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chairman, and members of the Board of Supervisors. We just wanted to be here. We're very grateful to be honored here today. We want to just start by saying we want to thank the amazing support system we have from our school board to our district office members that are here today, to our administration, like our principal, Jamie Rogers, our athletic director, Patrick Snyder, and so much more that make it possible to have our program be as successful as it can be. This past season, we took trips to Arizona, Washington, D.C., Stockton, Santa Maria, Los Angeles, to build a competitive schedule to help lead us to the section championship at Selland Arena. And we were able to beat Wenatchee 50-43. And so it was a great game to be able to get a win over them. And we unfortunately lost to them about the last 3 times. So we went into that game knowing that we were going to beat them. And so we were really happy to end up winning our first section championship since 2017 in Division II, which is the highest division ever competed in at Sierra Pacific. So we were really honored and excited about that. So thank you, guys.
And if anyone else wants to come up and take a picture with the girls, you're welcome to. We don't do MVP.
Everyone wants a picture.
And we do have a gift for you guys and an appreciation of you honoring us today. Andy, our captain, will hand it out to you guys. We also have our 2 other captains, Asia Jackson, and Abhijak Ayun as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Rosen. Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and we'll go to unscheduled appearances. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address items of interest in the board jurisdiction and which are already on the agenda. The board will not answer any questions impromptu, and concerns or complaints will be referred to the appropriate staff. On items which are on the agenda, members of the public be provided an opportunity to address the board each of those items that's brought up for discussion. Speakers should limit their comments to
Mr. Chair, I think you just need to speak into the mic.
Sorry, can you hear now?
Check.
You mean to read that again? Okay, do we have anybody that has a written comment?
I have no written comments, but I do have a speaker card from Rebecca Bell.
Morning, Rebecca. You know the routine. But now we have timers.
I know. I keep them short and sweet, but this one, I was honestly hoping that the ladies would have remained here to hear this message. But I wanted to thank them. You know, I know how difficult it is to be able to represent. But anyway, I also wanted to spread a message that this is like a shout out to behavioral health. They did an amazing job. I had a friend that was in crisis last week. She finally let me take her to Kingsview for help. So that's a very big step. She was scared because the last time she spoke up, I mean, she was 17 and that was over 40 years ago, but they locked her up. She broke up with her boyfriend, and so she was in crisis and did stupid things, but they just straight up 5150'd her. And so she had that stigma. She says we were crapping bricks while we were waiting in that lobby in Kingsview. I will not lie, because she said, I swear to God, Becky, if they break me, if they lock me up, put me in a straitjacket, I'm coming after you. So I have to admit, it was a tense moment, but I just say kudos to behavioral health. They have, and mental health awareness is still fighting the stigma, but the departments have gotten better. So that's where it matters. And I came across a song by Papa Roach, Leave the Light On. I cried buckets. So you guys can listen to that. I hope Sierra Pacific does too. High schools have come a long way because now they offer mental health support, but it's there, but the stigma is with their peers. You went there? What's wrong with you? Kind of thing. And so there's still a stigma, but it's a little less. So that's why I'm hoping that Sierra Pacific or any other high school students or
Thank you, Rebecca. Just for the record, I know years ago, Kingview wouldn't take a person off the street in, and they do now. So it's a place that people can go. It's private. They get the help they need without being escorted by a police officer or sheriff. So we're there for use. So thank you. Thanks for doing that.
That's all the speaker cards that I have, and it doesn't appear anyone has their hand raised.
Online. Anybody in the audience? Yes, we have one.
Good morning. Good morning, Chair and Supervisors. My name is Aubrey Tone, and I'm the AT&T consultant for the Central Valley region. Our AT&T team appreciates the prior collaboration between AT&T and the county on important initiatives, including broadband and wireless efforts within the county. We respectfully request the board pause action with the consent agenda. on the letter of opposition for Assembly Bill 470. Our AT&T team is currently working with stakeholders on making legislative changes and updates to the bill, and we request the board to pause action until there is further updated legislation on this issue within the next couple weeks. The bill changes in the coming weeks will hopefully reflect the productive conversations we've had with legislators, rural counties, public safety officials, and consumer and community representatives throughout the region and the state. Myself and our AT&T team will stay in touch with this board and the staff on those legislative updates as they will move forward. We are happy to meet with staff on board members to brief them on legislation and its specific impacts on Kings County and your districts, including county-specific maps and data that we can provide. We also look forward to partnering with the county soon on the recent CPUC FFA Broadband Award focusing Kettleman City area, and which will serve over 500 locations in the area with fiber internet over the next few years. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
CRCRC is always in support of the shift. She is.
Thank you for the question. As our consultant, I'm happy to take the question back to our legislative team and I can get back to you on that. Thank you.
Supervisor, and I just want to clarify, RCRC is opposing it. Correct.
Bill.
They're opposing the bill.
Anybody else in the audience? Seeing none, we'll move on. We'll go to approval of the minutes. Report out of closed session from regular meeting, April 1st, 2025.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So a motion was made by Supervisor Robinson with a second by Supervisor Valley to retain Vardabedian, Hester, and Haynes to represent the county's interests in the matter of In Ray Wellpath Holdings, Inc. et al. Bankruptcy case number 2490533 in the Southern District of Texas. Supervisor Robinson voted yes. Supervisor Valley voted yes. Supervisor Neves voted yes. Supervisor Thayer voted yes. And Chair Verboen voted yes. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Approval of the minutes from regular meeting, April 1st, 2025. By Robinson, second, and second by Supervisor Neves. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Neves.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson. Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Okay, 5 in favor. Any questions from the audience? Seeing none, we'll move on now to the consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are to be considered and acted on one motion. If the board member has a request for additional information or wishes to comment on item, the vote should not take place until after the questions have been addressed. Do you have any questions on the consent calendar?
Do you want to pull the item for AT&T Assembly Bill 470 for discussion, or do you want?
It's on administration, I believe.
But it is on the
It is on
consent
the-
calendar.
Oh, it's on consent. Okay, yeah, let's pull that item.
Move to adopt the consent calendar as amended.
Motion to pull item from Supervisor Neves, second by Supervisor Thayer. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Neves.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson.
Yes.
Robert Thayer.
Yes. We'll go back to that item now, and I think we have Matthew Boyette here. Morning, Matthew.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Matthew Boyette, Deputy County Administrative Officer for Kings County Administration. AB 470 is kind of it's a bill sponsored by AT&T in regards to what's called the carrier of last resort, meaning that a service provider is legally required to provide critical telephone service, such as lifeline service and access to 911. And AT&T tried to get a similar bill passed last year, which they wanted to relieve their obligation to serve as the carrier of last resort in the designated areas. And it made its way through, I think, some committees last year, but it ultimately failed. And so AT&T is now back again this year as like a second bite of the apple. So they're looking to be relieved of their legal obligation to provide critical telephonic services such as 911, to areas that are deemed un or underserved. And so within the County of Kings, if AT&T's proposal is approved, that would leave places such as the Armona census designated place, the city of Avenel, Grangeville, the city of Hanford, Hardwick, Home Garden, Kettleman City, Lemoore Station, the city of Lemoore, Stratford, and portions of census tracts near and around the city of Corcoran, without a carrier that is legally obligated to provide them with that critical service. And another point that AB 470, why it's of critical concern to rural counties such as ours, is in the event that such infrastructure is damaged in like a natural disaster, there's also no obligation by that carrier of last resort to repair the infrastructure, which would potentially leave the residents without connection to lifeline services, access to 911, in instances of emergency. So this has been a topic of discussion both in our CSAC and RCRC circles, even leading back to last year when this was first tried by AT&T, and since it has failed and now retried by AT&T, it is now back on the radar and in the discussions in our weekly ledge meetings with CSAC and RCRC. So with that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know that I have one for Matt. I was looking at the sheriff back there, and I know you've chaired the ledge platform for Cal State sheriffs, and I'm assuming there's discussion going on there as well.
Yeah, thank you, Supervisor Slater. So we have had the same discussion, and we're opposed at this point. When you talk about natural disasters and other emergencies that take place, the cell phones and the landlines, there's not a lot of landlines left anymore, obviously, but there's still landlines, especially in the mountainous areas, that we don't want to lose access to those. And so at this point, we are opposed to it as well. And so, I think that there's got to be a better option than just the carrier of last resort, moving on and then everybody else kind of being stuck with whatever service you have and hoping for the best. And at this point, it just doesn't seem like a very good plan on their part.
Anybody from the audience? Yes, go ahead.
Okay, if for some reason, if this were to pass, what would we have for backup? I mean, AT&T has that obligation because they're under contract, but what is the alternative? Because has AT&T even offered some sub, or what are we supposed to do if that passes and then they're no longer providing? So what does the county have for backup? Is there a plan B, honestly? Because should, heaven forbid, that were to happen, you don't want to have you want to have an overlap before it gets taken out. So what does the county have as a plan B should it fail? I mean, should it pass and then AT&T is no longer obligated?
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for your question. And unfortunately, at this point, I don't have an answer for that. So
I hope you guys will have it before it comes back to the table, because we're SOL.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I would just offer that this bill that just came out printed in February. It's so young of a bill. There's not even, I'm on the ledge webpage. There's no bill in it yet, but this bill is introduced by an assembly member from Inglewood who represents Gardena, Marina del Rey, Los Angeles. I was wondering what an assembly member from those, the bigger communities that I don't consider rural is introducing a bill that sounds like it's going to hurt rural communities. And so that and the sheriff's comments and RCRC, I would say let's go ahead and do it. Let's vote on this today and get this up to the Kings County Senate, up to the Capitol. But it's introduced by a Democrat. Well, which I would assume probably going to come without addition to it, which I can't even see right now because there's no bill analysis that shows opposition and support both sides of the story.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? The comment I have is I got a couple calls yesterday from a couple lobbyists and consultants asking us to pause it for 2 weeks. So let them give a chance to let AT&T address it, see if they can fix it so they can help our community. And we can bring it back at that time and vote on it. So either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. We take 2 week pause. It's still pretty new. We're not going to vote on it for quite some time. So I know I voted on it with RCRC and oppose it. So it's a bad bill right now, but they're asking for time to let them address it. I think with our relationship with AT&T, with the broadband coming on, that's one cause of divide on out, but please give them an opportunity to make some corrections.
Well, they sent a rep today. There's nothing that you can add to it.
Step to the mic, please. Yeah, we got to get on recording.
Thank you. As our consultant, I've been taking a lot of notes of concern from everybody providing public comment. I really appreciate you taking the time. And then with that, when we come back with the adjustments, we'll get together with Chairman and then maybe even yourselves as well, and we can sit down and talk about some of the changes and concerns with the bill. I know the team is focusing very heavily on a lot of the concerns that was presented when making these adjustments. So we'll come back with you all with those adjustments when ready. But I have been taking notes and I'll present that back to the team. So thank you.
2 weeks or 2 months?
I don't have a timeline for that, but I don't think it'd be 2 months. But
A lot of the communities that were out by on my district.
Okay.
Obviously, Sony, happy that we have Avenel City Councilman to go. He's here in the change list this morning. And so I'm sure we're all going to take a look at. But I appreciate that you came here. It's not very typical that we do letters in support of opposition. We do, but usually no one like you would come to the side of the story. But I agree with the chairman. It's early on. We're reasonable. We'd like to give it time to develop and do what.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And like I said, I'll get back to the team. And when we have more information, we can sit down and present and work with you all on that and provide you more information.
Yes, thank you. Just make sure whatever changes are made, get in touch with Matthew or myself or Kyria, and then
sure,
we can work with you too. We have a lot of disadvantaged communities here that need to have access to. So.
Right. I'm a Central Valley native myself, so I totally understand. But when I get more information, we'll schedule something and we'll all get together and talk about it.
Of course,
thank you.
We all live in the Central Valley. We know that most of the phone is just spam calls anyway. So
yeah,
the emergencies you got to have. So those once every couple of years you need the phone line. And so I had a couple of dogs here about 15 years ago. They chewed off my phone line. I didn't know about it for 2 weeks, and I'm just like redid my house and I had no phone line. So I don't miss them. But,
well, anyways, well, thank you again. Appreciate it.
I have a question for her. I don't know if you have an answer for this, but do you have in these rural areas you're talking about, do you have any idea how many landline phones there are that AT&T supports at the moment? How many households?
I don't have that at the moment. Like I said, I'm taking a lot of notes and I'll get back with the team and provide you with more answers. So when we do get together, when we talk about the adjustments to the bill, we can provide you with that information and what that looks like. So we can talk about that.
I do have a question too. So like in a new home, do they put phone lines in a new home? Landline? Put conduit. They don't have conduit. They put.
Yeah, so we can all sit down and we can discuss this heavily, especially with the AT&T team.
Technology changes day to day. So.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, the record of the bill as it stands, the board can take action to oppose it today. And then if it changes, we can bring it back and then, then support it. However, the point is to make a record that we do not support the bill at this moment.
Okay.
I was thinking about just redirecting the letter to AT&T because I think the letter is well written. I think it well points out the shortcomings that I think this board sees. Maybe we should redirect that letter to AT&T and bring it back for action in the future if those concerns are addressed.
Can we make that motion? We have a motion on the table from Supervisor Neves. Wait a second.
I'll second that.
Good. We have a motion by Supervisor Neves, second by Supervisor Valley. Now, clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon. Rusty Robinson. Robert Thayer.
Yes. Okay, 5 in favor. Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to the response.
Me too. Thank you.
I do like copper wire.
Anyway, we'll move on to the consent calendar as left. And so what's your pleasure on the consent calendar?
Chairman, you actually did adopt the amended consent calendar without that item.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did.
And at the mention.
And you asked the public if they had any comment.
Do we have any comments on what we just voted on? Even though I didn't ask you. Sorry, council. Okay, we'll move on now to regular agenda items. And we have administration, Gary Martinez, and I think we have Kim Waite, Bob Henry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is a quarterly report on the facility activities at Kettleman Hills Hazardous Waste Facility. This report will be given by ChemWaste Representative Bob Henry. Thank you.
Bob.
Morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Report period covers from January 14th through April 7th. Not a lot of activities, but we'll go through them. January 28th and 29th, we had DTSC surveillance and enforcement at KHF, annual unannounced compliance evaluation inspection. During the inspection, there were 3 folks present. They looked at our final stabilization unit. It's our treatment unit. Bulk storage units, phases 1 and 2. It's where we'll store roll-off containers of untreated and then treated materials. Drum storage unit, landfill B18, the hazardous waste unit, surface impoundments P9, P14, and P16. They went through our equipment shop. They did records review. During their inspection, no violations were identified. They usually come out at least 3 times a year for unannounced inspections. This was the first. This is mainly globally across the entire facility. Subsequent inspections will be focused usually on our drum container unit and then on our final stabilization or our treatment unit. So this is first of probably 3 or 4 that we'll have this year from DTSC. January 30th, Kings County Environmental Health Services at KHF, monthly announced facility inspection. We had 1 inspector from the county come out, included inspections of landfill B17, the MSW landfill, B18, the HAZ, B19, the MSW landfill that we closed, but it hasn't been certified as of this time. And then did records review. No violation, no area concern identified during the inspection. February 14th, we submitted a Class 1 permit modification to DTSC, and then we also submitted 1 to US EPA. We had to change our contingency plan. So DTSC has a contingency plan. If you want to change it, you have to give notification. EPA, with their permit, they pulled in that contingency plan, so we have to give notice to a permit mod with them as well. What we did is we removed one of the emergency coordinators from the contingency plan list. Philip Spencer, our operations manager, had been placed on there. He has since been promoted to within waste management, but up in the Reno area. So come in, train them, and they leave. I don't know what to say, but all right. February 25th, Kings County Environmental Health Services back out at KHF. No violations, no area of concern. March 19th, 1 member of the DTSC Board of Environmental Safety. You guys may recall, DTSC now has the Board of Environmental Safety, oversees DTSC. So that board, we had a tour. We provided another one of the board members a tour of the facility. And they brought about 9 people with them to see the facility. It's kind of amazing how many people have to come with a board member, but we took care of them.
Yeah, if I show up, we don't have that problem. No one wants to go with me anywhere, so.
Okay. No entourage. Anyway, we had 1 of the board members, then we had 9 DTSC staff members who provided an overview and tour. March 20th, Kings County Environmental Health Services again at the facility, no violation, no area of concern. March 27th, Kings County Fire Department was KHF annual facility inspection. We had 2 firefighters there. The inspection included all the buildings on site. No issues noted during the inspection. However, they would like for KH to have more water readily available through sprinkler systems at the FSU, DSU Laboratory Facility Maintenance and Administration Building. So right now we do have a limitation on how much water we actually have. We have 250,000 gallons for our drum pad through the sprinkler system, but most of the other buildings that have sprinkler systems, the other four, have a limited amount of about 10,000. So those would have to be nursed by the fire department in actual need of utilizing those sprinklers. See, future activities, KHF at the Kettleman City Foundation will be there this Thursday to provide the seniors in town with an Easter luncheon. So look forward to. April 24th, Kings County Grand Jury at KHF. That was a request of the grand jury. They're not coming out to see me for some undisclosed or disclosed item, but we're supposed to have 15 people. We'll give them a tour, we'll give them an overview of the facility, and then we'll give them a tour of the site. So they'll be out on the 24th, 29th. Annual community meeting in Kettleman City. We have an annual meeting in Kettleman to discuss year-over-year changes to our groundwater program, year-over-year changes to the air program, placards, we'll go over that, and then we'll also go over the contingency plan. At that meeting, Kings County Office of Emergency Services, they're going to do a family emergency preparedness planning presentation. So kind of do both. This is something that the county, when we did the Tanner Act for B18 Phase 3, the new hazardous waste landfill, there was conditions placed upon the facility. One was to have this annual meeting. DTSC turned around, put the same condition on us. So we have a meeting every year to go over these 4 topics. Also, every April by May 1st, we'll send out a notice to all the PO box holders on the mailing, all the PO box holders in Kettleman City and all people on the mailing list, those changes to the groundwater program and to the air program. When I say changes, it's the results. Do we have any kind of anomaly that came across during the year for air or groundwater? The answer is no, but we have that information going on.
And you'll send letters to all residents in the area in California?
Every PO box, so mail's not delivered to the home, it's to a PO box, and it's usually about right around 400 pieces.
And then do you get response from all 400 or?
No. Come on.
I'm just asking. I was thinking about the AT&T deal we just discussed. Do we put a box in there? Do you have a landline or do you use cell phone? Or do you have both?
Pardon me?
I just thought we could, in that case, if you're mailing the letters, if we could put a box in there and ask if you have a landline or do you use a cell phone or do you use both? I was kind of curious to who has landlines in those communities now.
There's still a few, but a lot of folks, I mean, like everywhere else, everybody's using new technology. Everybody has a cell phone in their back pocket.
The expense on our part would be to reach out to people with all the letters. So if we were curious, but that'd be AT&T's job.
Okay.
They would know. Just start.
No problem. It is not. We had it. It's going to be at the school. It'll be in the cafeteria. It starts at 5:30. It was live. And then with COVID, we started doing remote, and this will be our first year to go back to doing live. Live only.
So, Shanley, did you say date and time yet?
Just get the right date for you. Okay. 24th is the grand jury. 29th is the community meeting. And April 10th is the foundation luncheon here. Okay, April 10th, foundation. April 24th, grand jury. April 29th, annual community meeting in Kettleman City, and that'll be at the grade school at 5:30. If anybody would like to attend. And we'll go over those. Kettleman Hills folks will go over those 4 topics that I mentioned, and then Kings County OES will go over family emergency preparedness. Usually it'll take about a little over an hour 15. So now then it'll be opened up for questions. I usually have staff do the presentation. Sometimes I'll do one of the sections. Then I'll answer questions if we have any from the community.
Okay. You have questions from the board?
I do, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Henry, only because you touched base on the Kettleman City Foundation, are you comfortable letting the board know about the concerns. I know I've been getting a lot of calls in regards to the foundation possibly losing the building there at the community center, and what that red flag is that is causing that, and maybe how we could help. That would be helpful. I know you'd be comfortable with that.
I'm fine. I think I've been beating the drum probably the loudest. Kelman City Foundation. It's an organization that's very helpful for the community to have resources brought to the community, let people know where to go to get resources. The Kettleman City Foundation has an agreement with Kings County Board of Supervisors for the use of the building. So it's basically a flow down from where the Reef Sunset School District deeded the property over to the county. With that deed, there is a clause in there that says it'll have to be used for its intended purpose. And that was from when we did the community development block grant and got the first $500,000 for that building. In there, it said we would use it for a head start, amongst other things, but the main item was a head start. We satisfied that with KCO's agreement with the Kettleman City Foundation. They came in and they provided Head Start for about 22 students, and we did that from 98 up until last year. Okay, so it was working out great. You had Head Start for the community for the 3 to 5 year olds, and then we had services that was one side of the front building. And then the other side, we had the Family Resource Center, and that was being maintained. Having services brought there. The back building is the community center for events in the community. So it was working out really well in that we had satisfied that agreement between the school to the county. And when the buildings were built, the county then deeded it over to the Kettleman City Foundation, but with that flow down provision that it had to be used for the intended purpose. Now, what's happened is the state has, I don't want to misrepresent here, but the state has basically has funding that came away from the KCAO. It's gone over to the school. The Head Start's being operated out of the school. Okay. So those students went from KCO operating out of Kettleman City Foundation building, and those kids are now over at the elementary school. All right. So the building is not being used for its sole intent. So we're not using it for its intended purpose. We haven't been for some time. So that's one side of the coin.
That would, everything you just said would cause the foundation to lose access to the building, or as a foundation therefore that the county would pull that building from them?
It would be if the school came back and said you're not, Reef Sunset School District would come back to the Board of Supervisors and say, the buildings aren't being used for the intended purpose. They're not providing services to the community. Therefore, Kings County, you're in default.
Because and now the intended purpose, right, was satisfied by a contract with KCAO.
It was.
Kings Community Action Organization.
Correct.
So KCAO is pulling out.
Correct.
Okay. So who's our appointee? Is it you, Supervisor? There. I won't get too far down the line, but he opened it up when he always reports on the foundation. So that's an important part of this presentation.
Correct. And your staff report actually says including any and all information, any and all other work and activity at the site.
I would just ask Supervisor there if you could monitor that to see, because is it fair, Mr. Henry, for us to ask KCAO to figure out a way to keep that contract there so we can maintain that service to that rural community? I don't know why KCAO is pulling out. I don't see a representative here, but that's something that I know is concerning the community. And then I guess if we can't get them there, then maybe question to the CAO, Mr. Chair, is could we look up that old agreement and that it sounds like we have with the foundation, and maybe we look at some language that would modify instead of putting them in a corner saying you can only use the building for one purpose, but maybe we could expand that language to say just find a way to satisfy it, whether it's different services or to give them more freedom to find another contractor, another organization that can come in there and keep that building.
It does allow, Supervisor, it does allow a little bit of latitude. Now, the problem is when talking with KCAO, they're trying to find somebody to come in. I know that KCAO, or I've been told KCAO has talked to the county trying to see if there's anything they could do already. So I know that Jeff Garner's trying. I know that he's reached out to various other organizations to try to get somebody to come in to serve Kettleman City. The problem is that pot of money has gone to the school. I don't know what all's out there. It's not my expertise area. I don't know if a Proteus, a KCAO, whoever might be able to come in there and help us satisfy that grant deed. Okay, that's what I was saying is one side of the coin is we're not using the building for the intended purpose. We need to find somebody who can use it for the intended purpose. And it's not just Head Start, but there are 3 or 4 things that were identified in the community development block grant from 97, I believe it was. All right, so we have that side of the coin. The other side of the coin is just straight operating cash. So KCO was helping the foundation out by paying for a lot of the costs to run the building because they were the occupant.
Yeah.
We need to get an occupant who would help pay for those, pay for the building, help, rent, lights, what have you. So, which is doable. We just got to find somebody who can come in.
Thank you, and I appreciate the timing of the time here, Mr. Chair, because I was actually going to sit with our CAO later on today, but with Mr. Henry being here, it gives us access to. I mean, he's on the ground there. He's been working with him more than anybody. Needed his side of that I've been doing. I don't know, Carrie, if we could even look at what county services could go in that building as a way of keeping that building there. Because as you know, just like most small community, that resource center, that's their city. Everybody goes. That's where when people need help, food, whatever, that's where they go. I hate to see the doors closed for that. It'd be devastating in the community.
Very good.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So we are currently reviewing the grant deed of the facility. However, we were under the impression that the KCF board is split on the future of the building. And so that's where we last left on conversation. So, it is something that we are actively exploring. And so I don't know if Mr. Bob Henry can address that.
We did have a vote at after we found out that KCO was pulling out and the Reef Sunset School District came in and did a proposal and saying what they could bring to the building or bring to the community. It sounded very favorable. We had probably don't quote me, 6-1 vote to go with the school, to hand it back over to the school because they could bring services to the community. And that's what at the heart of everything is bringing services to the community. Now, we have some folks on the board who would like to keep it. That's great. I would love to keep it too. Have a lot of sweat equity in it. But at the end of the day, I want to do what's right for the residents and bring services to the community.
I do as well. But what's concerning to me is when you go back to the meeting where the school district came in, one, I'm told it wasn't even agendized. 2, the presentation caught the board members off guard. I got calls 2 days later from board members who said, we don't understand what was going on. We don't understand the ramifications to the building. And so it sounded like they were totally unprepared for that.
And that's fine. It stopped the following board meeting or whatever. It was pulled off, and it's like, okay, let's find a way to make this thing work. And you still have the bottom line in the hearts of those board members is what's the right thing to do for the community? What services do we need to bring? What's the mechanism? School has those mechanisms available to them. Foundation, we don't. But and KCO is helping us. Now, can we have Kings County help us? Is it another organization that could help us? So we're just not aware of.
As a school board, the school district gets control of the building. what the impacts were. I mean, people do quinceaneras there, family reunions in there, access to the hall. Does that?
The only, the Kettleman City Foundation would have access to the building for their meetings. The hall would still be available for community events, at least for Reach Sunset. The big difference is you're not allowed to have alcohol on school grounds. That's the big one.
Can't have a quinceanera without a damaged kid, but
Services, alcohol.
Sorry, just keeping it real.
Very good.
So I think it's something we have a meeting this Thursday night. We have it at about 5 o'clock Thursday night. If there's anything you can do, this thing is going to just keep festering until we can get it worked out. Because one side we could lose a building, or the school could come to you and say not used for the intended purpose. You'd come to us and we'd say we have nobody, and it would end up with the school. The other would be we're going to run out of money. So we have so many months worth of money left in kitty, so we can keep the power on, what have you, because KCO is looking to pull out this summer.
Yes, and I'd just like to add one comment. The school district has not indicated they would do that on the use of the facility just yet. However, they have shown interest in taking over the facility.
We Mr. Chair, could we just ask staff to take a look at, take a closer look at it? Sounds like you guys are, but it is a priority. The clock is ticking. I'd rather see it in the hands of the foundation, because changing to the school district. I'm not sure where I'm at on that. I like it where it's at right now. It's been working out, and I think if we take a look at it, especially bringing back the MOU, if that's what it is, or just whatever that agreement was, so the board could take a look at the language and maybe reset the parameters of that. I'm just more worried about the school district coming in last minute to a meeting, making an off-the-cuff presentation. It sounds like it came across to some board members later that they're making a run at the building instead of leaving it with the foundation. And that vote, I would disregard that vote, just based on the calls that I got from board members who said that it kind of got ambushed by that. We don't want anyone come to our board meeting unless it's agenda and big decisions like that coming down the pipe.
Any other discussion or questions for Mr. Henry? Not from the board.
I work with Dan.
I hear you.
All right, thank you, folks.
Thanks for coming every couple months.
And if I can just reach out to the board members, we're getting responses that they're not able to hear you. Please speak directly into your mics.
So we have a comment from the public. We'll step up the microphone, please. 2 minutes are allowed.
But the thing is that because it looks to me, looking outside the box, that the school district has to look at their obligations of the contract between KCAO. If money has been exchanged already to fulfill that contract, then shouldn't they have to fulfill that contract first before they leave it open? Because otherwise that's a lawsuit, because they didn't fulfill. Because if money was exchanged for the contract to rent the area, and then if they say, well, we think that we should have it run for this way, but you can't quite do that because they have the obligation to the present contract first. So I understand what you guys were saying though, but do they realize that they have the obligations because they didn't understand the language of it? Then that would fall on their lawyer don't they have somebody there to explain the language of contracts before they go and sign it? And if they fail to understand that, then that falls on the expert that's supposed to protect them. So to explain to them, because you can't just say, I didn't understand it, and you then don't sign it if you don't understand it. But do they have somebody from the school district to realize you can't just push your way in? I didn't understand it, because you do have the obligations, and that falls there on the lawyers. So that's why it's a little confusing, because it's like you have obligations. That's what contracts are for.
Thank you. We'll take a look at it and see what we could come up with. We want to keep it as is. So thank you very much. This is just an information item. Do you want us to accept it?
Yes, please.
Move to accept, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Supervisor Neves. Second by Supervisor Valley. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes.
Rusty Robinson, Robert Thayer.
Yes.
Okay, 5 in favor. Thank you, Bob. Move on now to item B, which is District Attorney's Office, and we have Sarah Hacker. Good morning, Sarah.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. And this is wonderful Tuesday, because I'm asking the board to adopt a resolution proclaiming this week as National Crime Victims Week. This is an opportunity for all of us to honor the people who have fallen in this last year. This year's theme is kinship. It comes from a shared humanity that we all have with victims of crime. It's about supporting survivors of victims of crime, as well as beginning the advocacy process for victims of crime. And I would like to take an opportunity this morning to thank my staff. We have all of our advocates here. They do a tremendous job in reaching out to victims as well as witnesses, educating them about the court process, being with them, supporting them emotionally, offering services for them, as well as getting them access to services such as like access to funds to pay for funerals. In addition to that, they also advocate for them. They go to court with them. If asked, they speak on their behalf. And I can't tell you how proud I am of my staff and how they work so hard to help and be side by side with victims of crime. They do a phenomenal job. And this week is a week that we can all stand together with them and support other victims of crime. This year, we're going to have our quilt unveiling ceremony on April 10th, which is this Thursday at 6 p.m. at Coania Park, or at Coania Church. It is an opportunity for us to display past quilts memorializing victims. And then we'll also have an opportunity to memorialize this year's victims. This year, we have 16 victims that will be honored on our quilt. This, unfortunately, is our biggest quilt since 1997. We haven't had this many people honored on a quilt for almost 2 decades. And I want to go through each and every person's name, as well as what city they passed away in. Rosa Angela Pena, Hanford. Arturo Torres Gomez, Avenal. Catalina Cervantes Hernandez, Avenal. Richard Manuel Hernandez Jr., Corcoran. Antonio Escamilla, Corcoran. Jonathan Sanchez, Kettleman City. Cassandra Brianne Balog, Hanford. Brandon Moreno, Hanford. Jorge Zavala Visalia, whose family is from Hanford. Cruz Davis Avalos, Hanford. Ricky Valdez, Hanford. Angel Manuel Alvarez Romero, Kettleman City. Chelsea Gutierrez, Hanford. Jonathan Cerna, Hanford. Kelly Jane Rivera, Hanford. Juan Carlos Alonso, Avenal. Of these 16 people who have passed, 10 of them were related to motor vehicle collision. Of those 10, 2 of them were DUI fatality. 8 of them were vehicular manslaughter. And I want to take time this year to impress on the people in this audience, as well as online and this board, that vehicle collisions are entirely avoidable. Do not drink and drive. do not get behind the wheel of a car if you are impaired. We have plenty of things to help people get home, like Ubers, rides, electric bicycles. There's no need for anybody to get behind the wheel impaired nowadays. And furthermore, 8 of those 10 people who died in vehicular manslaughter incidents were killed because of carelessness. Be careful when you drive. People forget that our cars are deadly weapons if used improperly or carelessly. And that is the overall thing that impresses on me this year, is that we have so many of our homicides and our deaths this year that could have been easily preventable by using caution and care on the road. Thank you very much, and I ask that you adopt our proposed resolution.
Thank you very much. This all starts this Thursday at Pony Church, right?
At 6 p.m.
6 a.m. 6
Oh,
p.m.
And I do have one other addition. Unfortunately, this year, this is the first year that we have had a situation where we're going to be acknowledging and honoring a fallen hero. And that was Captain Eads of the Kings County Fire Department. So while he will not be on the quilt, he will be honored and remembered and appreciated for the dedication and service that he did in the line of duty this year.
Thank you very much. Any board direction?
So move it, Chair.
Moved by Supervisor Neves, second by Supervisor Robinson. Madam Clerk, call the roll. Oh, do we have any? Did I go to the audience? Any questions from the audience? Concerns? Go ahead, call the roll.
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboon,
Yes,
Rusty Robinson, Robert Thayer.
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go on to the next item, which is item B. Oh, we have a resolution. Sorry. I have a resolution for your team.
Why don't you bring your team, Madam DA?
Photo up, photo up. Make a little bit of money on it. Somebody's got to buy the cookies.
Right, now we get to go on to the next item B, which is item C, which is library. We have Vicky Cervantes.
Hello,
Good morning.
board. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm here before you today to acknowledge National Library Week. So we celebrate National Library Week across the nation. And so we're very excited to continue to be that thriving source in our community of Kings to bring early literacy, the importance of early literacy, the support to the family unit, the support to our elderly population, for a place to go and chill out, I guess is a good way to put it. Definitely, technology has also changed our service model. So we have upgraded our digital amenities, and we hope that everyone will take advantage to celebrate National Library Week in that regard. However, we are not able to accomplish all the tasks presented to us in public service without our awesome staff. So staff is here today. We have library assistants, senior librarian, library manager, and if you would so honor us to proclaim and pass a resolution today, we would truly appreciate it. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know a couple of you up there have a library card in your wallet right now, maybe even on your key ring. And for those of you who do not, we're happy to give you one. Just stop on by. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have electronic ones.
A digital library card?
Yeah.
No, we haven't migrated to quite that activity, but you can definitely use all the mobile amenities to get things to your pleasure, like streaming videos and music.
How long are they valid? Do they expire?
They-
annually, or-
They get purged after five years with the system. 3 years. Okay, 3 years, because we're part of a library cooperative, which means you can borrow materials from Merced County as well as Kern County, the biggest geographic library cooperative in the state. And so with that library card, you can definitely get some mileage on it. But also our digital amenities, like Supervisor Nez mentioned, can really pass some time as you're traveling with audiobooks or movies.
I always look for the banned books. That's always
The banned-
I
oh,
wanna read. Yeah.
good, good.
When that
Good.
banned book.
You'll have to
Just
share. You'll have to share which ones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Well, I know mine's expired, but it's been more than 50 since I used this, so I feel.
Well, we can certainly take care of your every need.
Very good. Board President.
So move it, Chair.
Moved by Supervisor Deb, second by Supervisor Bear. Do we have any questions from the audience? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Rusty Robinson. Robert Thayer.
Yes.
May I invite my staff up to help?
Photo up, photo up. It's not really a quiet place. It used to be.
All right. With that, we'll go to board member announcements and reports. Supervisor Nez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last Tuesday, April 1st, First Five had their meeting in these chambers. Todd Barlow was elected the chair-elect and the annual dues were discussed. First Five, local First Fives pay into the state First Five $4,000 per year in dues. There was a proposal to increase that by $2,000 a year for the next 3 years, bringing the total to $10,000 a year, plus a surcharge of $2.60 per birth per year. And for the 25-26 year, that would mean Kings County would be paying $11,735. This item was tabled for more discussion and try to figure out why the state is looking for more money. They've always squeezed First Fives from both directions, through the auditor's office, through the collections of funds, and then now they're trying to just take it right off the top. So we also reviewed the state annual report. So for $11,000 in the annual report, we got one paragraph. And then the spotlight on service showcased the Kings County Office of Education, who have the family connections in both Hanford and Lemoore. Ties into a little bit of the discussion we had with Kettleman City with the transitional kindergarten. You see a reduction in some of these daycare Head Start programs, because now the 4 and 5 year olds can go to a transitional kindergarten on the campus. So that hasn't really affected many of those programs that used to handle all of the children or students 0 to 5. Now they're only getting that window 0 to 2 or 3. And it really depends on their birthday. So
First 3.5.
correct, pretty much. And yeah, so they, that has impacted a lot of different programs, both Head Start and other transitional type daycares that have handled that role in the past. Continuing to announce softball at Lemoore High. Attended the Kings County Department Head Leadership Conference held at the Palace. Thank you for breakfast. It was a good breakfast, and it looked like you had a very good lineup for you. On Friday, participated in Senator Hurtado's press conference at Hanford Station number 3, introducing Senate Bill 345, the State Fire Training Accessibility Act, which will assist in training firefighters through the State Fires Marshal Office. In the 1990s, that training was extremely important for firefighters throughout the state of California. Over the years, it kind of fell out because of cost and the ability to access federal funding for training. This is an attempt to bring the state of California back involved in part of the training to help everyone in the fire service, from an engineer all the way up to captains and chiefs. So it's very much needed, and certainly appreciate the senator for bringing that to the attention. The Lemoore Downtown Merchants had a sidewalk sale on Saturday, April 5th. Saturday, April 5th was very busy because the Lemoore High School also had a spring brunch at the Hanford Civic. And then the ceremony ice cream social took place. The meal was open and the ice cream was wonderful. So everything worked out very, very well on Saturday. The Portuguese Fraternal Society of America held its official visit in Stratford on Sunday the 6th. A brunch was also served and a report from the organization. The organization is about 15 years old, and it combined 4 or 5 other Portuguese fraternal organizations into one large association. That has taken some time to get to where it is today. But it's certainly a much stronger organization today, gaining about 750 or so members a year. And that has taken about 15 years to get to that point. They have some good instruments for any investments, anything for children, grandchildren, transitional financing, generations, a lot of different instruments to help many different families. That Stratford Hall was founded in December of 1915. So that makes it the 110th year. The Portuguese celebration was first held in 1916, and they'll be celebrating next year. And then just also on April 2nd, the Fresno proclaimed a local emergency due to beet leafhopper infestations that also carry beet curly top virus that affects tomatoes in Fresno County. Kings County continues to watch the numbers closely and may join that action in the future to assist Kings County growers with their production. But so far, we have not seen the infestations or the numbers that would cause us some alarm. But at some point in the future, we may join that action. With that, thank you.
Thank you. Right there.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This past week, had the opportunity to meet with the constituent and help him navigate a permitting issue for a housing complex that's taking place in my district, but it's within the city of Hanford anyway. Just the struggles of navigating local government that gets in the way sometimes. It's the brake on the wheel of progress in many situations. And but I'm happy to report I talked to him this past week and it's been resolved. Also, I think the other board members probably receive the same notification, and it's something that I don't know, maybe if this board wants to I don't know if it's a study session or just an opportunity to hear from those who are being impacted by this. But I know that the FAA shut down the fueling stations at the Hanford Airport. The airport, it's the only airport really that is in this county. My concern is airplanes leaving to the north. If they continue to have these issues, they're gonna land not so softly in my district and a few of our other districts. And following some of this through social media platforms, somewhere someone's not telling the truth on something somewhere. And anyway, I don't know if this board wants to bring that up and hear it. I'm trying to stay in my lane. I was forewarned one time by somebody, but this is a life or death type of thing. And I know that we have very expensive aircraft that have been impacted by this, fixed assets that this board supports that are not up in the air. flying and protecting our communities as I think we would suggest they need to be. But that I'll leave for another day. On Thursday, I had the privilege to have lunch with many of our department heads and then participated in most of the afternoon's training session. And I know that the poster board, or at least the little flip charts that were going up on the wall, is that our department heads really appreciated that. And Carrie, thank you for just forward thinking, watching the team building taking place, watching department heads have conversations about who both get funds from state and federal sources, and how their offices interact, or they don't necessarily interact with each other, but how their offices interact through these processes. You could literally see the wheels of government moving and new relationships taking place. So thank you, Carrie, for that invitation. Friday in Visalia, along with Verboon, attended our 8-county One Voice. SJVRAC is, I think, is the acronym for that. And a lot of good stuff coming through there with One Voice being directed back to our lobbyists or the governor's office, or whatever the case may be, that represent the greater whole of the Central San Joaquin Valley. And then yesterday had the distinct pleasure again, thank you, Rosemary, for the invitation, and met with, I don't know, there were 12 or so of her staff members at their new brick building across the street, and just had a really good overview of public health. And
you get a flu shot?
I didn't get it there, but I did get a flu shot this year.
I didn't get one anyway.
Where you sharpen the needle?
But it was a great overview of the entirety of their operation. Thank you for your time and doing that. It was a great education. We had a great conversation with some very talented people. I see others from her office that are in here, and just again, thank you for that. And that's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Valley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Going back to Steve Thayer's comments on the any kind of agenda item for the airport, I would say when Super Thayer is ready and the sheriff is ready for anything he'd like to add, I'd be supportive of that as well. And Steve Thayer, that airport is in our county, so I'd say it's pretty much all in our lane, in our county right there, to at least ask, especially those doors are open at the concern of public safety. Like I said, if a plane takes off in there and something's in that gas tank that locks up that engine, that plane lands in residential homes, that's something definitely we have the ability. So I would go further and see if we have the to extend the invite to any leadership or board at that airport, that if and when the time comes, that they would be here to answer any questions from the board members, and put some information out to the community through the Board of Supervisors here as well. Secondly, I also want to commend CAO Martinez for getting all the department heads together under one roof. I also attended with Suit Nose the first day that they opened up on the training for the breakfast. I was more of the mindset that I don't want to look bad for eating and running, but I know we left, Suit Nose and we left after the breakfast, but I was more of like getting out of the way, letting the department heads have the ability to state any concerns about us if they had any, and I didn't want to have any presence there. I wanted them to be able to throw the baloney on the wall and see us through. So, but good job. That's leadership, and that's good work getting them all together. I think lastly, going back to Senator Hurtado and whatever that was the other day at the press conference, but there's a picture in the Hampshire Sentinel of her with some of our firefighters holding a check for $5.5. And I'm having a hard time finding out if that money's real, if that's something that is going to get sent to the county, holding up a check like that. And I can't get answers on what that money is. That's pretty concerning to me on a presentation to the people that live here in Kings County. So I think if we can get some answers on that. I've heard everything to that 5.5 million is a pot of money for a lot of fire departments to get training for the troops and then send in the bill for reimbursement. And so, but the check says it's a state check letting out to the county of King, $5.5 million. Actually, it's written to Kings County Fire Department. And so I see a picture like that, I'd expect a check in the coffers here pretty soon. So if we can run that down, Mr. Chair, that would be good to get reported on here. And lastly, again, I just want to thank Avenel City Councilman Ricardo Vertigo for taking the time to drive from Avenel this morning and be here this morning. Thanks, sir.
The homecoming parade is coming up on May 5th, right? Oh, yeah. Old timers, yeah. I won that one year. I had all class reading. I had them all in the back of my truck. They won the big trophy.
Oh, you went?
Harold Day was the guy that put it on.
You went through the parade?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and it was the all class reunion. I had a lot of. I had to put a stepping stool. I had to help everybody up in the truck and the saw bales, and it was really cool.
You still qualify.
I'm getting there.
I saw a flyer yesterday at Rice Park, right, Councilman, on that Saturday after parade. There's going to be booze, food vendors, and then in the evening, they're going to swim the Canelo fight that night, too, for the community to go and watch the boxing match. And then the night before, when everyone, all the old timers come back home, I'm hearing they may stream Jose Ramirez's fight, too, because he fights that Friday night, May 2nd, from Townsville, New York. And so City Andrews talking about streaming them. So sounds like a fun weekend coming up in a couple of weeks. And
Bud Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'm one of the supervisors that has the library card on me at all times. So my thanks to library staff, Vicki and your staff. Thanks to all of your patients. My kid has had a Portuguese project for about the last month. So on and off, we spent a lot of time at the library, and I appreciate your patience. Thanks for that. Attended a department head lunch at Tachi Resort. Nice to hear the concerns of some of the department heads. Thursday, spoke to New Time Rotary on the state of the county and also Kings County history. So thanks to Kristen Lee and the Rotarians. And then Sunday, we put on our boots. We went out to Layton for the rodeo. Saw a lot of Kings County residents. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
you stayed too?
Sorry?
You stayed too? You're making us look bad. We ate, we ran. You ate lunch, then you stayed for the afternoon training?
I didn't stay for the training. No,
Oh, okay.
no. I stayed there. Well, to be honest with you, we chatted through part of the training, but I didn't stay.
Oh, okay. I get it. Thank you. You made us look bad.
I was like what do you call it, the hair and the biscuit? I stuck around for breakfast and lunch.
Ooh.
All good. I want to back it up to the airplane, the fuel issue at the airport. And Sheriff, I know I've talked to you about it a little bit. Seems like an easy problem solved. I don't understand what's going on. But every fuel vendor out there that brings fuel to your ranch or whatever will provide you a tank that's not infected with material. And I think we should reach out or give the sheriff some latitude to go and just take care of it. Our planes are down. I know one didn't get down because it wasn't here, and they were able to get to another airport and fuel up by Cellular or Fresno. So this is a serious concern, and seems like it should have been addressed immediately. So I think I'm getting stirred up by the council, but I think it's easily fixed. I think we just tell the sheriff to go fix it and be on our way.
I'd imagine it's even impact on the surf ranch, right? If people are afraid, if the reputation gets going that they're afraid to come and fuel up there.
So
don't fuel there because they got jet fuel in.
yeah, Mr. Chair and supervisors, we shouldn't have a discussion about this because of the Brown Act, and you may have members of the public that are extremely interested in this, so it should be an agendized item so that they can participate as well.
You want to agendize it, Sheriff? Be 2 weeks, but yeah. Okay. All right. How's the board feel about having an agenda?
Yeah, and just for the record, on March 26th, the Area-Wide Planning Council through the Association of Governments did approve the Area-Wide Planning Review 25-1 for the Hanford Municipal Airport to be able to handle that issue. So when you go through some of your research, it's got to that level. I'm not sure where it's gone from there, but I think the request was for $250,000. But you can add that to the record when it comes back.
Okay, we'll go now to board member announcements and reports.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the board received correspondence from USDA office under the secretary dated March 25th, directed to Governor Newsom regarding the designation of 11 California counties as primary natural disaster areas due to recent drought. The board received correspondence from USDA dated March 26th regarding a disaster designation. The board received correspondence from Cal OES dated April 2nd regarding the USDA disaster designation. The board received email correspondence from Melissa Figueroa dated April 3rd regarding a save the date for SEIU 2025 Tulare Kings briefing. The board received correspondence from Kings River Conservation District dated April 2nd regarding the 2024 annual report. The board received an invitation from the California Highway Patrol dated April 7th to attend the Kings County Peace Officer Memorial, which will take place Wednesday, May 14th here on our Government Center. The board lastly received March 2025 monthly Kings County Investment Pool Transaction Activity Report dated April 7th. For upcoming events, Kings County Behavioral Health will host its Veteran Support Group tonight, April 8th from 5:30 to 7:30 here at the Veterans Memorial Hall in Hanford. Kings County Library will host its movie time at the Kettleman City Branch Library tomorrow, Wednesday night from 1 to 3. Kings County Behavioral Health will host its Mental Health Family Member Support Group Tuesday next Tuesday, April 15th from 5:30 to 7:30 here at the Kings Building. For upcoming agenda items, the following agenda items are for April 22nd. Administration has claims for damages, an appointment to the Avenel Prison Citizens Advisory Committee, appointment to the Countywide Oversight Board. AG has one item on an agreement with the California Department of Food and Agriculture for the moth detection program. Behavioral Health has one item regarding some Medi-Cal memoranda of understanding with managed care plans. CDA has one item on an agreement for the General Plan and Development Code update. DA has one item on continued participation in grant programs. Elections has one item regarding appointments of directors for the Green Valley Water District. Fire has one item on a subscription emergency software agreement. HSA has three items on some MOUs with Job Training Office, annual report on Child Abuse Prevention Coordinating Council, and Child Abuse Prevention Month proclamation. Health has an item on a notice of termination of agreement with Helena Health. IT has an item for some funds for the print shop. Probation has one item on an MOU with the Day Reporting Center. And Public Works has two items on some signs at Fire Station 6 and a joint use agreement with Southern California Edison Company. That concludes my report. That was a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll move on now.
And Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
just real quick, did I miss it? Was there something from our Friday meeting in Visalia Carey that we needed to come to the board, a letter of support on that? Or did we not?
I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Okay.
I think we just gave direction for them to bring it back to us with a letter from all of us. It's not done yet. Yeah, we'll sign it once everybody signs it at the same time. I'm not sure what it was.
Okay, it's coming back. There it is. So yes, we ended up attending our San Joaquin Valley Regional Counties meeting on Friday, and there is a letter of opposition for a bill and to support those efforts. So we will bring that on the 22nd.
I think Avenel has a fish fry on Friday. So I'm sure tickets are available.
Is it fresh fish from Avenel?
Fresh fish. Right out of the aqueduct.
Okay, we'll go on now. We have closed session, personal matter, government code section 54957, public employment appointment, public employee appointment, appointment, and the title fire chief. And that we will not be here next Tuesday. We're taking the 15th off, and our regular meeting will be April 22nd at 9 a.m.
And if there's any public comment on closed session.
Do we have any public comments on closed session? Seeing none, we have none. So we're good. Thank you. Enjoy your Easter break.